Highguard was a good game, and it would have been even better with more time, and it didn't deserve its fate. Give me some time to explain. Now this is all in hindsight. I really loved playing Highguard, and I'm sad I'll never play it again. I've had quite some time to reflect on what went wrong and my time with the game. So first off, in no particular order, let me get some problems with the game I had out of the way first. The resource gathering mechanic in this game was absolutely useless and boring. Anyone who played the game more than just a couple of times soon realised that it was pointless to even gather Vespa. It was quicker to get what you needed from chests around the map than it ever was to waste time mining. In fact, you'd get enough Vespa passively by the time the first raid would start. You could just buy whatever you were missing at that point anywhere. I think the Highguard development team were unfairly treated for their comments made post-launch. They were clearly very passionate about a project they spent so many years working on. But some of the comments made I question. A former developer on Highguard commented on internal testing, and I just can't believe genuine in-depth testing was done on this game before launch. The resource gimmick was soon toned down and essentially made irrelevant after the first major patch, and the game was truly better for it. Second, the trailer pretty much killed any momentum this game could have ever had. I don't think the final slot of the Game Awards was that much of a factor. The trailer was awful. It felt like this soulless action montage with no substance on how the game actually worked. A funny anecdote is that the literal start of the trailer is literally impossible to do in the game. The guy kills 4 people in a 3v3 game. And yes, 5v5 was eventually added, but that was later on. Which leads me to my third point. 3v3 sucked on maps so large. There was no feeling of exploration when the time to kill wasn't that long anyway. So by the time you saw someone and you were in a gunfight, one of you was going back to spawn soon enough. 5v5 was where this game truly shined. The characters, the world, the guns, everything weaves so brilliantly together. I hope that you can see that I'm not blinded by the game's issues, just because I really like the game. It certainly had its flaws. But the developers were really fast to react to feedback. We had 5v5 about a week after launch, and a lot of the balance changes to the game made it even more fun to play. The best part was raiding. They even added a mod called Raid Rush, which was literally back-to-back raids with no fluff in the middle. And every game felt like a movie scene with how you could approach each raid differently. There was something special about Highguard that I don't think we'll ever see again with the aftermath of what happened to the game. A criticism of the gaming community I have is the endless watching of Steam charts. It's happening with Marathon right now, and it was always there with Highguard, which I feel just puts people off trying the game for themselves, as they could have come to their own conclusion on if they liked or didn't like the game, instead of seeing the population blasted in their face with gloomy titles. Like I said, the developers were fast to act with constant patches that improved the game more and more. If the game launched in the state that it shut down in, I can confidently say that there'd be very few detractors because the game was so much fun. We had a talent tree and the coolest warden ever added. The new gun was so stupidly fun to play, and it just makes me sad. I don't know what went on behind the scenes. We had a story about Tencent secretly funding the game or whatever, but fundamentally, the game just was not ready to release. The talent trees should have been there day one with how fleshed out they were. It's such a shame that the talent trees were added in the final patch before shutdown, because the talent trees literally changed the game. The buffs and advantages it would give felt so good, and I wish we had more time with the system. The gameplay felt fresh, and the wardens had these cool designs, and the guns felt so good to use. There should have been a beta at the very least, but they were clearly on a nice edge with how soon they had to get the game out and make some revenue for the studio. Raiding was so much fun, and you could approach them differently every time, and it made every new game you were in fresh. The tools you could use to approach a raid felt satisfying, and truly, I wish you could have a chance to play this game. I think its sudden shutdown in 45 days gives the Stop Killing Games movement even more ammunition to make studios give options when preserving games. Because it's a genuine shame you can't play this game right now and find out for yourself. Anyway, thanks for listening to my randomly long Highguard rant. Have a nice day.